The Pokemon franchise is constantly trying to one-up itself with each new iteration of the video games, TCG, anime, and more. This, of course, is done to keep the series fresh, and with 25 plus years under its belt, it's no wonder that it keeps evolving. The manga is no different. With each new chapter that has been written, Hidenori Kusaka, writer of the series, has had to come up with something unique while still staying true to the classic Pokemon formula. In typical Pokemon fashion, you have your hero who journeys across the land in pursuit of some goal. They take many stops while on the road to completing their dreams, doing all manner of things like battling in a gym, performing in contests, and maybe even thwarting an evil organization along the way. Adventures follows this pattern, but every now and then it derails in favor of following a different path. The Fire Red and Leaf Green chapter, as well as the Emerald chapter, fit that description and then some. In the same vein as the Yellow chapter, these two arcs tell original stories not found in the video games. As such, these chapters tend to have more creative freedom when it comes to its storytelling. This can be for the better, but sometimes it's also for the worse. I'm gonna be honest, these two arcs are not my favorite in the Pokemon Adventures series, but I will admit that there are some truly incredible moments as well as some great character development found therein. To properly convey my thoughts, I will be spoiling major points in these two arcs, along with some spoilers here and there from all prior arcs. The Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald chapters are two parts to a bigger picture. This is why I'm covering both of them in this video, so let's go ahead and get started with the Fire Red and Leaf Green arc. This arc is special in that it is based on remakes of the original Pokemon video games. The remake games retell the same story found in the originals with some extra content. With Pokemon Adventures being a long-running series, the writer took this opportunity to continue the story of the original protagonists found in the first couple of arcs. These characters have had their time in the spotlight, and while they grew a lot in those chapters, they are now teenagers, meaning they still have a long way to go. The overall story of the Fire Red Leaf Green arc really isn't all that impressive. Team Rocket is back at it again for the third time, but now Giovanni is back at the helm. This time around, their goal isn't world domination. Giovanni is after two things. He wants to get revenge and finally beat Red in a Pokemon battle, but his ultimate goal is to find his lost son. I do like his motives, but his methods can be a little bit ridiculous. With the help of 3 new underlings, as well as control over Deoxys, he starts an all-out war with the Pokedex holders. This results in each of them having their own existential crisis. At this point in the story, Green's arc was all but finished. She had conquered her fears and was able to stop the Mask of Ice from misusing others like Silver and herself. All that was left for her was to reunite with her parents who she had been taken away from when she was little. She finally gets this opportunity at the beginning of the chapter, but things go wrong when Deoxys attacks and steals away her parents right in front of her. This traumatizes her into a coma-like state, and rightfully so with the brutal way that it was done. Blue has been done with his character arc for some time now, and the story puts him in the role of a mentor of sorts. This is shown by his maturity, his ability to stay confident and also keep a level head when they are in tough situations. His role does fit his personality well, and while he has grown up a lot, he still does have moments of weakness. Of course, with his grandfather Professor Oak being kidnapped alongside Green's parents, these moments of weakness are completely warranted. Red has the most character growth in this chapter, which makes sense, he is the main character of the arc. Prior to this chapter, Red's character really didn't have much of an arc, and that's saying a lot, especially since he was the main character of the original story. In the first chapter, Red doesn't have a lot of struggles to get over. Everything is sorta handed to him, and you'd expect him to win every battle he participates in. This is fine though because it was the start of the series and had to establish what Pokemon Adventures was going to be. And now that we're back to Red, we can finally get the character growth that he was lacking. Red is the champion, the strongest trainer in the region, as well as one of the world-renowned Pokedex holders. And at the beginning of the story, he has to give the Pokedex back to Professor Oak for unknown reasons. This leads Red to theorize why Oak had taken it. Was he not a good enough trainer? Is he not worthy of being a holder? All of these questions and more had consumed Red's thoughts to the point that he had started to struggle in battles. Red had lost to Deoxys and Team Rocket had gained the upper hand. To top it all off, Team Rocket had also framed the Pokedex holders as the reason for the Sevi Islands being attacked. This is where we see Red at his lowest point, but with the help of his friends and Pokemon, he is able to regain his pride. And just in the nick of time too. The final battle is about to be underway, and to help save the day, Mewtwo shows up and teams up with Red to fight Giovanni and Deoxys. As they make their way to the final fight, we shift focus to Yellow and Silver. Silver Light Green was trying to find his lost family, which led him to Viridian City. There, he meets up with Yellow, and they discover that Silver's father is none other than Giovanni. Now everyone is in Viridian, and the final battle can commence. The battle with Red and Mewtwo versus Giovanni and Deoxys is actually really cool, and it has some incredible artwork to boot. Satoshi Yamamoto took over for Mato near the beginning of the Gold Silver Crystal arc, and while some prefer Mato's artwork, I think Yamamoto's is perfect for the series, especially for the action sequences like this one. The fight concludes in Red's victory. The ship that the fight took place on is starting to crash, and Giovanni with one of his subordinates, Surd, flee the scene. Yellow, who can understand the thoughts of Pokemon, tells Red that he and Deoxys are connected. She continues with saying that during Team Rocket's experiments on Deoxys, a sample of blood that they had got mixed into its DNA, and that sample just so happened to be from Red. With their newfound kinship, Red and Deoxys crash land the ship and get out alive. Silver and Giovanni were also in the ship, but before the crash, Deoxys had teleported both them and Yellow out. Silver and Giovanni then ended up in some flaming wreckage, but Giovanni was able to save Silver. Afterward, Silver decides to acknowledge him as his father, but refuses to agree with any of the terrible things that he had done. With things all said and done, everything turned out okay. They took care of the bad guy and saved the day. Not quite. Out of nowhere, Surge shows up in a last-ditch attempt to capture Deoxys. She fails, but in turn was able to petrify the present Pokedex holders, leaving Fire Red and Leaf Green on a huge cliffhanger. The next chapter in the series doesn't immediately pick up where Fire Red and Leaf Green left off. Emerald starts out with a whole new protagonist, naturally named Emerald. This story is a continuation, but we don't get to see the resolution of what happened in Fire Red Leaf Green until much later in the chapter. Truth be told, the Emerald arc is probably my least favorite arc of the series. However, it does have its moments, especially in the later volumes, having some insane amounts of fan service for the series as a whole. As part of the Pokemon formula, Adventures does this thing where it has to include whatever new gimmick is currently found in the Pokemon games. Chapter 1 obviously gets a pass, Chapter 2 has Pikachu, 3 gets breeding, 4 is contests, 5 goes to the Sevi Islands, and now, in Chapter 6, we find our hero Emerald at the Battle Frontier. As a kid, I played Sapphire, so I have zero nostalgia for the Battle Frontier. I'm betting that if you played Emerald, and especially if you did any of the Battle Frontier, you'd probably enjoy this arc much more. It doesn't help much that I like Emerald the least out of all of the Pokedex holders. He does get better as the story progresses, but in my opinion, I think that Wally should have just become the 10th Pokedex holder. That aside, there are some redeeming qualities to Emerald, but they aren't very apparent right from the get-go. Emerald shows up at the Battle Frontier professing that he loves Pokemon battling, but dislikes Pokemon. This is further proven with the way he battles. Emerald really does have skill when it comes to battling, not just the usual dodge that attack or the quick-witted thinking that we have grown accustomed to in the Pokemon franchise, but he actually uses legit competitive Pokemon battling strategies. He makes his way through facility after facility in the Frontier, and as the story progresses, we find out that Emerald is there to complete his mission of securing the Wish Pokemon Jirachi. But of course, someone else is also trying to get their hands on Jirachi for their own personal reasons. During the progression of the plot, previous protagonists make their appearances, culminating in the realization that Emerald's mission to secure Jirachi is so that they can make a wish to save the other Pokedex holders who had been turned into stone. In true Pokemon Adventure style, so many things happen, or have happened, to get everything and everyone in the right place at the right time, and I'm totally here for it. Crystal is the one supplying Emerald with Pokemon at the facilities, and it turns out, Emerald was one of the kids in the orphanage that Crystal was a caretaker at. Ruby and Sapphire are sent in to meet with Emerald as the third Hoenn Pokedex holder, and Emerald gets fed up with their excessive flirting. And finally, Gold shows up, steals the show, and gets the ball rolling for the good guys to come out on top. The story then takes our heroes to the place where the petrified Dex holders are. At first, Ruby and Sapphire think it's a museum exhibit. They then have an encounter with the villain which helps Emerald overcome his personal struggles. Emerald doesn't actually hate Pokemon, he just dislikes having to rely on them for fear of being bullied for it. All he ever wanted were some real friends that he could rely on, and now he has them, and at that moment, Jirachi grants his wish, freeing the frozen Pokedex holders. The conclusion is all of our heroes joining up to take on the enemy, which is revealed to be Archie, the leader of Team Aqua. After Surd had petrified the Dex holders, she went on to find Archie and Maxie slowly decaying from the effects from their previous battle in Hoenn. Surd offers a way to be saved by giving them a suit of armor that will keep their bodies intact. One suit of armor. It is implied that Archie killed Maxie to get the suit, and now after the final fight, he is left without a suit and his body decays. But just before he dies, he tells them that he received this suit from Team Gala, which of course could only mean Team Galactic. This sets up for the next chapter in the series, Diamond and Pearl. As crazy as this story gets, it leaves with a very satisfying conclusion. While the Pokemon manga may have some bizarre moments from time to time, it does a great job at putting it all together and making some unique and entertaining adventures. Thank you all for watching our video on the Pokemon Adventures Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald manga. I hope you have all enjoyed, and if you have, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to see what's next in store. This is the Diamond and Pearl and Platinum arcs, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to our Patreons who we really appreciate as well, and as always, keep it rad.